Hello, sports fans. This is Stephen Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special NFL breakdown of the top 10 NFL running backs in the NFL for 2013. It's a big list. We have a lot of solid running backs on this list, a lot that didn't make the list, but these are the top 10 2013 projections for the top NFL running backs. We're going to start out where we left off from last season. For starters, the first top running back for the 2013 season, when we made this list, we looked at running back skills as far as can they catch the ball out the backfield, can they run the ball, how well they can block, can they pass protect, overall, injuries, all those things came into play when we made this list. But to start out, the top running back for the 2013 season, LeSean McCoy of the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at the revolution of the running backs in 2013, 2012, 2011, you see a lot of things. Running backs are no longer just asked to run the ball. They're asked to be an integral part of the passing game. They're also asked to catch the ball. They're also asked to play potentially all four downs. If you go for it on fourth down, you have to know the wide receiver positions, because sometimes some teams, they go to that spread offense where there's no running back. LeSean McCoy fits that mold perfectly. He can run between the tackles. He can also bounce outside the tackles. He can also go to wide out. He can also go to the H-back where you cut him out in curls, slants, things like that. And the Philadelphia Eagles are going to a new up-tempo type of offense. I think that he'll thrive in that offense. I think that the running game, more than anything, will be productive. I don't know about the passing game for the Eagles, but I know that running game, they're being in shape, they're playing more fast, and defenses will probably have a tough time adapting early in the season. He'll be able to eat up a lot of yards on the offensive side of the ball. I think that the Philadelphia Eagles will produce a lot on offense, so that's why I made him number one. Coming in at number two, the record-breaking Adrian Peterson. Last year, he came back from that gruesome knee injury. We saw him eat alive the Minnesota Vikings the last couple of games. We saw him throughout the whole season run like a man possessed, run like a man that was on a mission. Adrian Peterson, no doubt, is one of the best running backs we've seen. He's a throwback guy to where he doesn't catch the ball as well, but he runs the ball extremely well. It doesn't matter if you have 8 in the box, 9 in the box, or even 10 in the box. He's still going to get his 5 to 7 yards per carry. He has the rare ability to use power and speed. He can run inside, outside. The only thing that the problem is with AP, at times he can be injury prone, and at times he can fumble the ball. We did not see him fumble the ball as much as we have in past seasons last season, but that still is a concern for me. That's one of the only reasons why I didn't put him at the top of the list. I feel like he has the total package. He can. All he has to do is work on his hands a little bit more, and he'll be the number 1 overall rated running back next year. Coming in at number 3, Arian Foster with the Houston Texans. That Houston Texans offense is a thing of beauty. They run that zone scheme where they run east and west laterally to get upfield. They have one of the best offensive line in the NFL. They play as a unit well. They do a lot of things great on the offensive side of the ball. Also, having Andre Johnson is a blessing, because you can't just fit 8 inside of the box against the Texans. They play that great play action so well that they fool a lot of people. And Matt Schaub, if he ever puts a single season together 100% healthy, I think that they possibly could win a Super Bowl. He just has to play consistent all through 16 games plus the playoffs. The Houston Texans are loaded on defense. The only thing that they have to worry about is Matt Schaub, their quarterback. If Matt Schaub shows up to work each and every game, Arian Foster will be productive and have another great season. Coming in at number 4, Ray Rice. I know that a lot of people are down on the Baltimore Ravens, but they did not lose a lot on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, they lost Anquan Boldin, but this will give Ray Rice a chance to get more touches on the offensive side of the ball via passing, via running the ball. Ray Rice blocks extremely well. He does so in the pass game. We saw last year Ray Rice open up and catch a lot more passes than he's ever caught last season. Joe Flacco will need a solid safety blanket, if you will, and I feel like Ray Rice can be that. Dennis Pitta also is going to be a great help, because in a lot of those situations where Joe Flacco was going to be sacked, he either dumped the ball to Ray Rice or Dennis Pitta at tight end. So it'll be a great thing for Ray Rice. I think that having Anquan Boldin gone, it will force a lot of those players to step up. I think Ray Rice will step up and carry the torch for the Baltimore Ravens. At number 5, the baby beast himself, the Skittle Warrior himself, Marshawn Lynch in Seattle. He runs with a physical style. Having Percy Harvin on that team this season will create so much more opportunity for him to get big yards, bigger plays, and they won't be able to just settle on Marshawn Lynch as they've done in years past, the wide receiving core in Seattle is going to be very instrumental in Marshawn Lynch getting a lot more yards. Also, Russell Wilson, he's a mobile quarterback. You can't just focus on the run anymore. They do play action extremely well. Plus, they run the ball well, very well in Seattle. I think Marshawn Lynch at number 5 is going to be great. At number 6, Steven Jackson and the Atlanta Falcons. Having Tony Gonzalez, Julio Jones, Roddy White in a solid offensive line is going to be a blessing. We've seen Steven Jackson year in and year out in St. Louis with not even half the talent that the Atlanta Falcons have produce 1,000-yard seasons each and every year. Sam Bradford is nowhere close to Matt Ryan as a quarterback, so I expect Steven Jackson to be able to catch the ball well. I also expect him to be able to block well on those passing plays. Also, Steven Jackson is a man amongst boys. When you're running down that field, steam straight down, corners have to make career choices, whether to tackle him or to let him go past and try to grab his ankles or something like that. Steven Jackson is a true warrior. I think that he would have a record-breaking season with the Falcons. I think that he'll take away the rushes that Michael Turner would have had if he was still with the Falcons. He just opens up a different dynamic to the run game. Power. Late in the game, they'll be able to close out a lot of those games like they couldn't do against the San Francisco 49ers with first down after first down after first down in the playoffs, and it'll just be a tremendous help to Matt Ryan and his maturity and growing as a quarterback. Also, having Julio Jones, Roddy White, and Tony Gonzalez, again, is a big, big help. Those are 3 potential Hall of Fame players. I know Tony Gonzalez is a Hall of Fame player, but having Julio Jones and Roddy White to take the field deep, that is a big blessing. Coming in at number 7, Doug Martin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As a rookie, he came out and shined. He played very well. He caught a lot of people off guard, but when you look at the mentality of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, they are truly a run-first football team. I know they have Vincent Jackson. I know they have Josh Freeman at the quarterback position, but looking at this team's makeup, they will run the ball a lot because they want to make the playoffs. They're going to put the ball in the defense's hands a lot of games to try to win those games late in the game. Doug Martin is a man's running back. You know, he gets the job done. He can run inside. He can run outside. And when you also saw late in the season, him use his hands a lot and catch the football and produce a lot of rushing yards and receiving yards. Having Vincent Jackson is also a great thing because Vincent Jackson also is one of those receivers. You throw it anywhere near him, he'll catch that ball. The biggest question mark on this team for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is, can Josh Freeman take this team to the next level? I know Doug Martin can. Coming in at number 8, the San Francisco 49ers, Frank Gore. The 49ers this offseason have just gotten richer. You look at the Seahawks as getting better and the 49ers with that top tier defense. Also, adding Anquan Bolden to an already solid wide receiving core, having Colin Kaepernick, who with that play action and with the zone runs and with the reads, he can do a lot of great things. We saw Frank Gore get a lot of easy touchdowns in San Francisco because so many teams focused on Colin Kaepernick, on Randy Moss, on Michael Crabtree. I know they don't have Randy Moss anymore, but having Mario Manningham, having Crabtree, having Vernon Davis, they have a solid offense, and Frank Gore would do nothing but thrive and prosper in that offense out west in San Francisco. He is a solid running back. He has proven that after a knee injury, you can bounce back and be successful in the NFL. Coming in at number 9. I know they didn't have a lot of success last year in Kansas City. They had the number 1 overall pick, but they got better. You look at their Pro Bowl roster, they had a lot of Pro Bowlers, even though they didn't win a lot of football games. Jamal Charles is a beast. We saw him time after time against the Saints, against the Chargers, against the Broncos. He was ripping up, shredding teams on offense. He can catch the ball well, and he can also run the ball well. And the only biggest question for me, the reason he's at number 9, he has a history of nagging injuries, whether it's hamstring, whether it's calf, whether it's a knee injury. He's a solid football player, and he is one of the fastest running backs in the NFL. I think having Alex Smith as a game manager in Kansas City will help him in a lot of ways. I think that Andy Reid in that new offense will have them running the ball 50% of the time and passing 50% of the time. I know Andy Reid doesn't really like to run the ball that much, but having a Pro Bowl talent like Jamal Charles, it will open a lot of people's eyes in the AFC, also in the AFC West division where they play a lot of those rivals, and he will thrive. He will eat up the Raiders, he will eat up the Broncos, and he also will eat up the Chargers defense in those games. Coming in at number 10. A lot of people questioned this pick when I told them about it, but Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush is no longer that little scat back we know him to be. Seeing him produce in Miami last year with the Dolphins, and he ran hard between the tackles. He stayed healthy throughout most of the season, but he ran that ball well. Adding a different dimension to the Detroit Lions will be great for Calvin Johnson, because you no longer can just sit back and put 6 guys in the back 6 guys off the line and just try to guard Calvin Johnson, because Reggie Bush is he's one of those guys off the video game that he can gain 200-300 yards in a game, and you look down and say, how did he do all this? He has lightning quick speed. He can catch the ball at the backfield, and he got bigger. Reggie Bush gained about 15 pounds of muscle, and the Detroit Lions have not had a running game for God knows how long. They haven't had a solid running back since Barry Sanders. He'll be the next best thing since Barry Sanders in Detroit. He has a lot of talent. He can go in between the tackles. If he can stay healthy for a full season, Matthew Stafford will have something he's never had as a quarterback in the Detroit Lions franchise. So this will be a great add. A lot of these running backs that made my top 10 list are worthy. We have a couple of running backs that didn't make the top 10 list. I'll just run down a few of the names. Trent Richardson of the Cleveland Browns. Let's face it, he is a solid running back. You have Willis McGahee out there in Denver. I just think injuries scare me when I'm thinking about him, but I just think he's a solid running back. And having Peyton Manning is a blessing to him. The Bills, CJ Spiller. CJ Spiller is a solid talent. He just can't stay healthy. Also, if MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew, can stay healthy for the Jaguars, I think he'll do a lot of solid things. But this is JustMyPicks.com top 10 NFL running back talents for the 2013 season and then projections. You can check me out at JustMyPicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at JustMyPicksTV. You can also check me out on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel and also leave comments at JustMyPicks.tv. You can check me out. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and comment.